impact on women's basketball, both on and off the courts. From Stegman Coliseum in Athens, it is Georgia hosting the Auburn Tigers. It is great to have you with us here in Athens alongside Christy Thomascutti. I'm Eric Freed. This game comes after a bye week for Auburn and Georgia, and a great time for both programs to hit a reset button because they stumble into this matchup here today. Let's start with Auburn. They're changing their lineup a little bit, and they have to change ways in which Unique Thompson gets involved.
Well, Unique Thompson is the best player on the court today. The problem has been for Auburn, she has not been getting touches in the half-court offense. How did you solve that? They're moving her around more, trying to get her touches outside the low post. She worked on her face-up game all summer. She can now consistently hit that 16 to 17-foot jumper. But Eric, where she is at her best is on the offensive glass. She is first in the country in offensive rebounds with a little over 5 per game. Miss double-double. The way to stop her is don't let her get those offensive rebounds, crowd her on every catch, and make someone else beat you.
5th in the conference in scoring, but you see her national numbers. Number 1 in offensive rebounding, 4th in total rebounding, 12th in shooting, and a nation's best 14 double-doubles this season. For Georgia, they need a little bit of a reset and an attitude adjustment, and one thing you can look at is how good they've been in wins and how much they've struggled in losses. That is a clear difference in how they play.
What Joni Taylor told us today, the margin of error in SEC play is so slim. For UGA to be successful, they have to take care of the basketball. In their losses this year, they're giving their opponents almost 15 points a game off their turnovers. They need to get to the free throw line, which signifies they're aggressive, and they need to own the glass.
And according to their head coach, they need to play today with their backs to the wall, which is a little desperate sounding this early in the season, but that gives you an idea of the mindset for these two programs here today. These regional rivals are meeting here at Stegman. We're underway with Georgia in their home white. And there is Unique Thompson away from the basket right away as she tries to drive on Stady, and an early foul called on the post for Georgia. Right away, Kristen, you see Unique getting away from the basket. We're so accustomed to seeing her down on the block, but try to get her going downhill.
Well, there's a lot of inexperience on the court for Auburn. And their coaching staff has said it's been a struggle for the young guards to get the ball inside to her. So what do? Starting in the Alabama game, they bring Unique up to the high post area, and we just saw her take it off the bounce and draw that early foul on UGA.
69% from the free throw line makes them both to give Auburn an early lead. The Georgia lineup has Gabby Connolly, Stephanie Paul, Maya Caldwell, Jen Stady, who picked up the foul, and Q Morrison, the starting 5. For the Lady Bulldogs, who have lost 3 in a row, Auburn has lost 4 in a row, so we expect the intensity level to be dialed up a little bit here, especially coming off a week's rest.
Well, the most important thing for Auburn is get back to their identity, and that has been a defense-first team. They have struggled this year to score, and a big part of that is they're not turning teams over consistently enough and converting that into points as Moore gets the steal.
Robin Benton picked up the foul. That is her first in her first career start. Points off turnovers, that's been Auburn's formula. It has not worked as it usually has this year, but they get their first field goal off that turnover to make it 4-0.
Well, Eric, Auburn still leads the SEC in steals per game. The problem has been converting. Good sign for Auburn to turn that steal into 2 easy points.
Gabby Connolly leading Georgia in scoring, but just at 12.5 points a game. This team is 12th in the conference in scoring at 64 points a game. Offense has been a struggle, and it's a good defensive start for the Tigers. Auburn has a new look in their starting 5, their 7th different starting lineup. It features the return of their only senior, Deja Alexander, who's missed the last 2 games due to an ankle injury. She's leading the team in steals at better than 2 a game. And as I mentioned, the first career start for Benton. That's off the mark from Caldwell. 1 and done as Thompson gets the rebound. Alexander will run the point. Batted away. And here's Q Morrison. Morrison's got 3 steps, but Georgia doesn't have their first field goal until it's cleaned up by Caldwell.
I love that Maya Caldwell did not assume a make, continued in transition to get that offensive rebound put back.
Caldwell's second on the team in scoring. She's made a big jump this year. from last season. She's averaging 10 points a game and is coming up a team-high 13 in the loss to Tennessee.
Eric, when you're struggling to score in the half court, you've got to create new ways to score. For Auburn, that is offense from your defense as Benton takes it and scores. Then on the other end, Q Morrison with a steal. Unfortunately can't finish, but Maya Caldwell follows up the shot for the putback.
Thompson back at the free throw line. Thompson had 16 points and 14 boards in the last game against Alabama. That was last Sunday, a tough home loss for the Tigers. They shot 27% from the floor, and Alabama shot 52% in a win last week.
Well, Eric, already in this game, Unique Thompson has 2 touches and has drawn 2 quick fouls on UGA. Something to watch as UGA tries to bring a double. So far, they have not been successful.
Caldwell can hit, and a rebound for Brooke Moore. Sophomore from Atlanta, one of 4 Georgia kids on this Auburn roster. Batted away by Thompson as Paul got knocked down and cleaned up by Aaron Howard.
Well, Eric, you mentioned the rough game that Auburn had against Alabama a week ago. I thought a bright spot was Aaron Howard getting on the glass. Here she's continuing in that streak with that offensive rebound putback.
Howard putting Auburn on top by 5. Kicked, 20 to shoot. We welcome those of you who just watched Clemson knock off Duke. We're at the Stag here in Athens. Eric Freed, Christy Thomas-Scuddy, and our crew on a Sunday afternoon here in the SEC, and it's been a good start for the Auburn Tigers, who could really use some good news. The Tigers have struggled, going 0-4 in the SEC. Losers of 4 in a row, but Coach Flo, after a bye week, changing her lineup, changing the way they expect to use Unique Thompson, and has paid off, Christy, here in the opening moments of this game.
Well, early offense for Auburn has come through Unique Thompson, which I believe it has to when you have the best post player on the floor today, and then through their defense. Good start for Auburn.
Georgia has lost 3 in a row. They, too, had a bye week. A couple of early turnovers. They're down by 5, and they have Maya Caldwell at the free throw line.
Eric, you and I covered Auburn versus Arkansas 2 weeks ago, and already I'm seeing a difference in Auburn's 3-2 matchup zone. Far more aggressive in trying to prevent UGA from reversing the ball side to side.
Caldwell has all 4 Georgia points. Deja Alexander returning for Auburn here today. She suffered an ankle injury in that loss at home to Arkansas a couple weeks ago, so she missed the last 2 games. So important for this Auburn team, for her quickness, for her defensive ability, for her leadership, and as we saw right there, her scoring.
It's like you knew she was going to just elevate and knock that one down.
Once in a while. That's thrown out of bounds. Turnover for Georgia.
Well, partner, as you were saying, Deja Alexander is so important to this Auburn offense. She's the point guard right now for this team, but as you saw, she can elevate and knock down the jumper.
As I mentioned, Auburn changing their lineup here today. Their 7th different look features Benton at the 3, making her first career start, Brooke Moore at the 2. Erin Howard getting her 4th straight start. She's playing the 4, and Unique Thompson at the 5. Corner 3 on the way is good. Knocked down by Robin Benton. All freshman selection in the conference last year. Missed the first 9 games this year with a foot injury, and she's really come on as of late.
I think she's hitting her stride. She's only really been back on the court for a month now, but in the last 3 games, you've seen her just get a lot more confident on the offensive end. Stephanie
Paul tries to make the extra pass. Stady can't finish it, and Auburn comes away up by 8 here in the first.
And Eric, I'm a big believer that in this game especially, because of the post play, points in the paint will be the stat to watch. Can Unique Thompson finish down low against some taller posts for UGA, and can UGA's post finish against Unique Thompson?
One of the questions from Coach Flo pregame was, can we make shots? And so far, the answer is an emphatic yes for Auburn, as they've stretched out to a 10-point lead after Alexander hits. Connolly. Rebound to Howard. Alexander Blocked by Paul, and Stady comes away with it.
Well, that's the third time Alexander's turned it off that on-ball screen. The previous 2 times she was able to knock it down, or elevate over Paul.
Caldwell fouled. We get a timeout.
Well, Coach Flo knew she needed Robin Benton on the floor, and she knocks down the big 3. Auburn up 10.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Orbit Gum. Keep it clean. Orbit.
Boom. Upgraded.
Honestly, it doesn't feel any different. You okay, bro?
Rated E for everyone.
A hard 20 after a hard day isn't for everyone.
Got this, Peloton.
Waking up before the sun isn't for everyone.
You're almost there. Stay with me. Stay
This
with me.
isn't for everyone.
Peloton, let's go.
But at $58 a month,
Don't give up. Come on.
Peloton is for anyone who wants it.
Welcome back to the 50th meeting all time between Georgia and Auburn. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. This matchup went to overtime last year, a thriller at Auburn Arena. Auburn came back from a 13-point fourth quarter deficit to beat the Lady Dogs. And in honor of the big Jeopardy tournament last week, you're asking things in form of a question here today. Your question marks for Auburn and Georgia.
It's always a possessions game. So who's going to get more shot opportunities? And how do you do that? You got to take care of the ball. I've already talked about points in the paint, mainly because of Unique Thompson and her rebounding ability, but also her ability to finish through contact and with a lot of people around her. But again, the greatest and easiest way to get extra possessions, own the glass.
One of 2 at the line for Caldwell, who has all 5 Georgia points. Georgia, very good free throw shooting team, best in the conference at 74%. First substitution for Georgia, Javin Nicholson, good-looking freshman from Lawrenceville, Georgia, has come on. Kaye White is in for Auburn. Here's that matchup right now. Stady stays in the game, and a traveling violation called on Howard. That's the second turnover for Auburn. When you look at the turnover numbers, mirror image is the best phrase that comes to mind.
Well, we started talking about it early. Which team's going to take care of the ball and which team can turn the other one over and create easy offense. The good news for Auburn on that last turnover, it created a dead ball turnover, meaning they could get their press set up.
There will be Georgia ball here as we play in the first quarter. Auburn getting off to a great start from the floor, 5 of 10. Georgia cold at 1 for 7 shooting so far. Georgia surveys the Auburn zone.
Eric, you also wonder if this hot start by Auburn is due to this change in the starting lineup. More experience on the floor. First time all season they have not started a freshman.
Well, great job, great look by the freshman. Stady just couldn't handle it. Third turnover for Georgia.
Well, great idea by Georgia. The easiest way to beat a zone is post-to-post passing.
Morrison comes away with the rebound, and she wants to run. Caldwell, why not?
Do you get the feeling Q Morrison wakes up running out of the bed? I mean, that's the energy this young lady plays with.
She's been playing well when it comes to scoring as of late. She brings the energy in the defense normally, but she's been hitting double figures as of late. 3 straight games coming into this one, but it's all Caldwell right now for Georgia. She has all 7.
Eric, that's a good sign for UGA. Caldwell in the wins this year for UGA has averaged 12 points a game. In their losses, she struggled from the field with only 7. Great start for her today.
So Auburn will slow it down. Unique Thompson will check back into the game next dead ball. On the cut, Alexander gets fouled.
And we're seeing Auburn use a little bit of UGA's pressure defense against them, turning and making backdoor cuts when they're denied, trying to get UGA's half-court defense to loosen up a little bit.
Nicholson picks up her first personal.
Great read by Howard. Good catch. Draws the foul by Deja Alexander.
So Alexander, the senior from Decatur, Georgia, heads to the line. Was able to practice the last couple of days. We asked, was she a full go today? And Coach Flo said, we'll have to keep an eye on it, but I don't see any lingering effects of that ankle problem so far from Deja Alexander. She's got 5 for Auburn, up by 8 here with 2.5 to go in the first. Tipped out top, and it will remain Georgia ball. Jordan Isaacs, a freshman, is into the game for Georgia. And now Morganson Robin Wagu will come in for Auburn. As Alexander will get a rest. Isaacs in for Stady. Nicholson kicks it to the corner. Won't go down. Nicholson's got an offensive rebound.
Good decision by the freshman on that offensive rebound versus forcing it back up, kicks it out to reset the offense.
Trying to force the pass into Isaacs, another turnover for Georgia. On the drive. Taken away by Caldwell. Numbers here for Georgia. 2 Auburn players are back behind the play, but Georgia can't take advantage of it. They had a 5-on-3 advantage. They stepped out of bounds and turned it over. Auburn ball. Our big Monday men's basketball matchup, 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ESPN, and the ESPN app has Oklahoma and Waco to take on the number 2 Baylor Bears. Bears have won 14 in a row to move up to number 2 in the country, and they've won the last 3 against Oklahoma. An Auburn player heading to the bench, going right for that right shoe. That won't drop on the drive, and a rebound for Isaacs.
But you're seeing Auburn be able to turn the corner from the high post and get to the rim countless times already in this first quarter.
Jordan Isaacs hits, averaging 2 points a game. Early entry onto the score sheet. That is Robin Benton, who's gone to the bench for Auburn. Final minute, first quarter. On the back cut, and a foul called on Georgia. That'll be the 4th team foul of the quarter. And it will give Annie Hughes a chance to get into the game. Freshman, averaging 4 points a game. As Aaron Howard will sit down. Working on that right foot, right ankle of Robin Benton. And a 5-second call, turnover for Auburn. So let's see if we can see what happened to Benton. That right foot on the drive. Let's see if she comes down on somebody's shoe. Yeah, tough to tell. That's when she got tangled up, and Georgia had numbers back the other way, and they turned it over.
But the good news is the shoe's back on. She's tying it back up, so expect to see Benton back in this game.
Lauren Hansen, a freshman, is into the game for Auburn. Connolly trying to get going. Can't. And out of bounds, out of the reach of Caitlin Hose, who's in for Georgia.
Well, if you're Auburn, you're ecstatic right now. No threes made by UGA at this point. That has hurt them in conference play. Teams have been averaging 12 made threes a game against them.
Now, Georgia does not really use the three-pointer a lot in their offense. They're 13th in the SEC in percentage, 11th in three-pointers made per game at 4. But if you're looking for your three-point shooting to find itself, Auburn has been willing to let you get hot because they don't defend the three very well. That one won't go down. Georgia missing open looks. Now 0 for 7 from outside the three-point line, and good hustle by Thompson to get down the floor and draw the foul. She'll go back to the line with 13 to go in the quarter.
That is one thing Coach Flo told us. We want our bigs to run the floor, run it hard. There, the guards reward Unique Thompson for running, and she draws the foul. So into the game comes Benton after checking out.
for a brief period of time, and now Hansen heads to the bench. And here's Thompson. Thompson started the season with a 13-game double-double streak. She's gone for 14 double-doubles this year, averaging 17 and 12. That's good for 5th in the SEC in scoring, 1st in the SEC in rebounding.
Well, the thing is, it's not like teams don't know she's going to attack the glass. That's how much she pursues rebounds and just how gifted she is her craft.
There comes that Auburn defense, trapping and knocking it out of bounds. It'll be Georgia ball with 2.1 to go. Morrison to beat the buzzer. It is off the mark, and Auburn will take an 8-point lead to the benches at the end of one quarter. Were it not for the play of Maya Caldwell, where would Georgia be right now? 7 of their 9 points, keeping the Lady Dogs at single digits after one here in Athens.
Boom. Upgraded.
Honestly, doesn't feel any different. You okay, bro?
Rated E for everyone.
A hard 20 after a hard day isn't for everyone.
Got this, Peloton.
Waking up before the sun isn't for everyone.
You're almost there. Stay with me. Stay
This
with me.
isn't for everyone.
Peloton, let's go.
But at $58 a month,
Don't give up. Come on.
Peloton is for anyone who wants it.
Here's how I'm going to beat you. I'm going to outwork you. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you just work, everything will fall into place. That's how I've always done all my years of coaching, is just try to outwork everyone.
We back Pat game here in Athens, and Coach Flo, who was here in Athens for 6 years under Andy Landers, won 3 SEC championships as an assistant, her 8th year now as the head coach at Auburn. So 16 years as a head coach, plenty of experience, and she's got to be thrilled with that first quarter. That week off did them well. That was some of the Auburn defense that she's hoped her team could play this year, and they delivered it in that first quarter.
I mean, they have disrupted the continuity of UGA in the half court. Nothing has been easy. Here you see they're catching the ball almost 30 feet away from the basket on the first pass of the offense and turn it over again for the 6th time in this game. 6
turnovers already. Auburn with 5 points off of the previous 5 Georgia turnovers. You saw the number. Georgia turning it over on average over 17 points a game.
And Eric, we're seeing a new lineup for Auburn with Annie Hughes running what we could traditionally say is the 4 spot for Auburn. So they're going small now.
Georgia was 0 from outside the 3-point line in the first quarter. 0 for 7. They were 3 for 13 from the field overall. Hose, yes.
Great sign for Caitlin Hose. She has a beautiful stroke. Just has been just off all season long. Has taken good shots. That time let the offense come to her and knocked it down.
Did not score in 5 minutes against Tennessee. An easy path to the basket for Alexander. Connolly tries to save it. And it will be another Georgia turnover, Auburn ball.
Eric, I'm a big believer. If you're going to attack a zone, you need to get the ball to the high post. There, Javin Nicholson kicks it out to Hose, who puts it on the floor for a pull-up jumper.
Thompson outside the 3-point line. You said they were going to bring her away from the basket. I don't know if that's exactly what you meant. She tries it from the outside. Georgia will take that, I would think, from Unique Thompson. And now here's Connolly off the Hose.
Well, I think it's twofold. It forces Unique Thompson to knock it down in an area away from the basket, but also keeps her off the offensive glass. Unique Thompson reverse pivots, which brings her out to the 3. Little jab fake on Bates, who doesn't bite. This is not a good shot, in my opinion, because it's so contested, and there's still plenty of time on the shot clock.
Mallory Bates into the game today. Did not play last game against Tennessee. Coach's decision. As we've seen Stady, we've seen Bates, we've seen Nicholson in there defensively against Unique Thompson. Shania Jones comes into the game for Georgia. And that's going to be a foul on Howard on the reach-in. That'll be her second. This is a different look for Georgia as well. Look at this 5 on the floor. Only Gabby Connolly, the only one from the original starting 5, out there right now. And it's turned over.
Well, I've said it, it's a possessions game, and right now UGA can get no positive momentum going because they keep turning it over, and this is what UGA cannot afford to happen. That is Connolly's second foul of the game, so now she's going to go sit the rest of this half, most likely.
So it's going to be 5 bench players on the floor right now for Georgia as Connolly goes out after picking up her second, and Chloe Chapman, who did not play against Tennessee last time out, was battling an ankle problem. Freshman out of Maryland comes in. Let's see how this Georgia group handles things with Lady Dogs down by 8.
Where I felt like UGA was still in the game at Tennessee last weekend when Connolly picked up her 4th foul. From there, it was an uphill struggle for UGA to get good shots in the half court.
Thompson gets it on the inside and is fouled.
Here's my humble scouting report on Unique Thompson.
Let's hear
If
it.
she catches the ball in the paint area, if you do not close the double team immediately, she's going to split you, draw the foul, or worse, get to the and one.
Humble about that. That's just fact.
I'm throwing it down then. Fact. The humble part is I'm not sure I could get there in time to stop that, knowing it's going to happen.
It's also not a, well, dare I say, unique scouting report because we've seen her over these 3 years now in the SEC, averaging a double-double for the 2nd straight year. And a timeout being called on the floor comes with Auburn on top by 10 here in the 2nd quarter on the road in Athens.
My graduation was something I will never forget. People like you and me sometimes may have doubts in yourself, but I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
What are you going to do when Dogamania comes down on you? Super Tuesday doubleheader on ESPN, and the ESPN app features 2 of the top teams in the nation. Number 10, Kentucky will host Anthony Edwards, and Georgia at Rupp. 7 o'clock Eastern time, then Miami takes on Duke at Cameron Indoor. Coming up Tuesday on ESPN. So I have the Auburn timeout. It's Georgia basketball, and Auburn will bring the pressure. It's worked so far here today as Georgia has not had a lead in this first half. And they have not knocked down a three-pointer until this moment. Shania Jones, who scored 20 in her debut December 15th against Furman, had scored 10 points total in her 6 appearances since. She is a microwave if she can get going.
Well, Joni Taylor said she's instant offense.
Well, she gets a hand in there on defense, flying around a little bit, and helped out by Chapman on the tie-up. So better defensively here for Georgia, coming from an unlikely source in Jones.
Well, Eric, unfortunately for young players, they tend to play harder when the shots go down. Here, Shania Jones knocks down the 3, and then comes down the other end, much more aggressive, knocks the ball away, goes for this trap, but Chloe Chapman's there to tie up Auburn.
Knocking down a three-pointer has a ripple effect, apparently, on both ends of the floor. As Paul there defensively, shot clock violation, and you can see Joni Taylor 4 steps out onto the court to applaud the defense from Georgia here in the second quarter.
Well, that is the 4th time Auburn has taken that switch off the high-on-ball screen. Deja has knocked down one of them out of the 4, but that time, Stephanie Paul sized it up and timed it up well for the block.
Jones drops it down to Paul, and now Georgia starting to get things going after a very slow start here in Athens.
Well, Stephanie Paul is UGA's leading scorer in conference play. In my opinion, this senior is starting to play with a sense of urgency, and it's showing on the court for her team.
Deep three-pointer, a little flat-footed, but hitting the glass is Benton, and a block shot, tie up, possession arrow, Georgia.
Shania Jones got away with one there, didn't box out, was watching the shot, luckily was able to get the jump ball.
I think it's Bates who got the block.
Well, Eric, if you're playing Auburn and Unique Thompson's on the floor, everybody's got to put a body on the opposition when the shot goes up. And as I said, UGA got lucky on that one. They were able to get that tie up.
Looks like maybe it was Jones who got a hand in there, and not Bates. Battle for the loose ball, won by Georgia. Hose can't hit. Bates on the offensive glass, and a second chance here for the Bulldogs. Real good crowd here on a Sunday afternoon. They've been quiet here in the first half, but making some noise now. They'll get a little louder.
The bank is open on Sunday here in Athens, Georgia. Eric, I feel like this possession for Auburn is really important. They led Alabama after that first quarter where they were up 6. Almost eerie the way this second quarter is playing in similar to the game last Sunday.
Important possession, you look to Unique Thompson, but Georgia is not taking their eye off of Thompson. So Auburn has to try it from the baseline, and knocking it down for 2 is Kaye White.
And made basket allows Auburn to set up this full court 2-2-1, and they force yet another turnover.
But then Georgia returns the favor.
That possession can almost be a microcosm of the season for Auburn. They do something good, but they can't convert it into pop points for their offense.
Jones after the missed 3, rebounded by Paul. Inside of 5 to go here in the quarter. Skip pass, drop back, Jones, wide open look, yes.
You're seeing UGA do a great job of going to the corner, which forces a rotation, and they're making that skip pass. Jones wide open on the weak side to knock down the 3.
Hose gambled, got some help, and Hose recovered, and I think she's the one who got the block. Auburn ball.
Well, if you're going to attack a 3-2 zone, you need to be patient. Ball goes to the corner, which forces a rotation. Great pass by Chloe Chapman. Unselfish pass to Jones, who knocks it down.
Well, Georgia's got to be thrilled with the spark they're getting from their bench here in the second quarter. Paul, the only starter on the floor right now. Another tough shot, another rebound for Chapman. 10-2 run for Georgia. Chapman will slow it down.
Eric, so much hype around Chloe Chapman when she came out of the soccer season as a 2-sport athlete. Has not quite found her groove for the UGA offense, and that's tough as a point guard.
Alexander with the steal. Hanson's a good shooter, not this time. And now Chapman off the miss. She's got great speed, and she'll push it quickly for Georgia. Hose will wisely bring it back out here for Georgia. Tempo slows down just a little bit. Pass forced there and taken away by Auburn. Another turnover. That's 11 turnovers here in the first half for Georgia.
Pass fakes, pass fakes, pass fakes. That's what you need against a zone.
Thompson inside, count it, and the foul. That's the first field goal for Unique Thompson.
I was going to say, does that count as the hook shot that Coach Flo was telling us to be on the lookout for today? Coaching staff's been imploring her just to go up. I'm not going to exactly say that was a hook, but the bottom line, no one is there to help double. Unique Thompson's too good not to get a double team, because that's what she's going to do all game long if UGA doesn't get that double team there sooner.
Well, Thompson's first 7 points in this game came from the free throw line. Can't finish the three-point play. The Stady is back in. Morrison's back in. Caldwell's back in. The reserves who came into the game for Georgia got a nice round of applause from this Georgia crowd. They helped bring the Bulldogs within 2. Good look by Stady. The cut to the basket by Caldwell.
And you know what started that? Q Morrison gave a little pass fake, which enabled the ball to go to the high post for that high-low pass for the 2 by Caldwell.
Alexander, yes. I don't see any rust on Deja Alexander's game. She has 9, go along with a couple of rebounds and an assist in her 15 minutes so far.
You can tell Auburn wants to exploit that switch on the on-ball screen. That time she didn't try to challenge Paul down low and elevate to knock down the jumper.
Knocked out of bounds by Auburn. Georgia ball. Hose couldn't get it. Caldwell's got an offensive rebound and a foul called on Auburn. Robin Benton picks up the personal. That's 2 on Benton. Howard has 2 for Auburn. Connolly with the 2 for Georgia. Alexander and Benton will check out. Hose, wide open look. Here's Moore. Handing it off for Robinson Wagoo.
UGA got lucky there. Stephanie Paul passed off Unique Thompson and no one picked her up. Then they got back to her.
Hugh Morrison stepped in to take the contact. There wasn't enough to call a foul, but it was enough to disrupt Auburn. And a foul called on Thompson.
Howard with the dribble penetration, and Q Morrison gets there, and I think that forced Howard to take it up sooner than she wanted. Paul with the rebound and draws the foul.
Now, I wouldn't encourage anyone to flop. Don't get me wrong, but maybe Q's a little strong for her own good. Maybe she needs just to go down like a house of cards right there to sell things.
I appreciate any player who's willing to put her body on the line to try to draw a charge.
That's true. Caldwell. Morrison couldn't get there. Grabbed by Lauren Hansen. Seconds to go in the first half. Thompson will try from outside again, and that hasn't been her shot. Hose. I think she thought she had it. Rebound for Auburn. Things have settled down here for these two teams. Shooting has been a struggle from outside the three-point line for Georgia. 2 for 13. They've got the 2 threes knocked down by Jones off the bench here in the second quarter. Now Thompson in the paint. That's where she does her work. Double figures for Unique Thompson. She has 11 points and 2 boards. Back to a 6-point lead. Morrison on the run off the window for her first 2. Double comes to Thompson. And she turns it over. Shot clock is off. Georgia can hold for a final shot. Down to 7. Stady can't get it to go, and a rebound for Auburn, and that will do it for the first half. But in the second quarter, Georgia outscored Auburn 16-12. Lady Dogs were down by as many as 10 in the first half. The lead for Auburn is 4 at the break, and Auburn has been perfect when leading at halftime. 29-25 our score at the break. Stay tuned for the College Basketball Studio right after these words. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. Halftime here at Stegman Coliseum with Auburn on top of Georgia by 4, 29-25. Big Monday men's basketball matchup coming up tomorrow. Oklahoma and Baylor. Bears have beaten the Sooners the last 3 meetings, 5 of the last 6. Baylor, the number 2 team in the country. You'll see them on ESPN and on the ESPN app. Right now you see Eric and Christy back with you here courtside in Athens. Christy had a series of questions she was asking for these 2 teams to answer. So what is your interpretation of the answers we've gotten so far in this game between 2 teams that are really, really looking for something positive to happen?
Well, it's the same story for UGA. They've got to take care of the basketball. It wasn't until the latter part of that second quarter where they were able to get consistent shot and scoring opportunities. Hard to win a game when you can't put the ball in the hole.
And Unique Thompson was going to be used in a different way here by Auburn. So let's break down how she was used in that first half.
Well, it started early with her ability to face up. She's 2 of 5. Eric, I didn't like that last shot. I just thought it was a contested shot. I love it when they can get her off the move, allow her momentum to get her to the rim. Another shot just out of rhythm. This is when she's been the most lethal because she's been able to put the ball on the floor, go by the bigger post players for UGA, and draw fouls.
So Thompson in the first half connecting at the free throw line 7 times, 11 points to pace Auburn. So Georgia was really struggling in the first quarter. They were trying to find a spark as the second quarter got underway, and they went to their bench, and the bench really provided a big jolt for them.
Well, that's a good omen because when Georgia's bench has scored, they have won ball games, and that bench scored 12 of their 25 points in the first half, highlighted by Shania Jones' 2 3-pointers. Things were stagnant, and I felt like once that 3 went for Shania Jones, the defense picked up. Now in the half court, extra pass, unselfish movement of the basketball allowed UGA to get on a roll.
So Christy mentioned the bench points, 12 for Georgia, 2 for Auburn. That's the line at the bottom. Blocks, good number in favor of Georgia, but the turnover, a positive for Auburn in that category. And both teams struggling from the 3-point line, especially Georgia. Those 2 3-pointers came from Shania Jones off the bench, as you just saw that bench production for the Bulldogs. So Gabby Connolly did not play a lot in that first half. She picked up a couple of fouls. She's out there to start the second half. It'll be Auburn basketball to get things going here in the third quarter. Blocking foul called on Maya Caldwell.
Well, this is definitely a play called up during the half, getting the little rub screen, back screen, and Auburn got lucky. I thought Caldwell was there. And
her heels on
the line. You're right. I hate saying that, Eric, but Eric's right.
I should have just let you finish the sentence, and you would have been right.
But honestly, Auburn got lucky there because the passer did not read the help side defense, just made the pass. So fortuitous for Auburn. UGA sets up and plays another round of defense in the half court.
Second personal foul on Caldwell. Hand off to Alexander, who gathers and finishes. Deja Alexander had 9 in the first half. She's in the double figures to join Thompson with 11 points. Caldwell, the leading scorer for Georgia, with 9 points. Connolly is their leading scorer this season at 12.5 a game. She has not scored in this game.
Eric, when Auburn's been at their best on offense, it's been because they've used UGA's aggressive defense against them. There, Deja Alexander cutting back door for the handoff and 2.
Caldwell. Morrison crashes the glass and gives it up to Stady. First points for Jenna Stady, 3rd leading scorer on this team on just under 10 points a game.
But credit Q Morrison for keeping that possession alive with the offensive rebound.
Good matchup here, Morrison against Alexander. Howard pulls the trigger from the corner. Rebounded by Moore. Connolly walks. Her teammate was in the way, and you can see Connolly and Stephanie Paul getting a little frustrated.
Eric, UGA may have struggled the last 3 games in point production, but the bright spot has been the play of Q Morrison. Has been so active, not just defensively, but here we see her on the glass with that assist to Jenna Stady.
Alexander got a little space. Couldn't hit, and Morrison's got a rebound. Team high 5 rebounds now for Q. Henson walks.
Another one of those opportunities for Auburn where they create the turnover but can't convert it into easy points in transition.
Morrison swings it. Conley. That looked a little bit better off her hand, didn't it? Knocks it down for 3. 34% three-point shooter, leading the team in threes made and attempted this year. She has been quiet for too long in this game. Thompson kicks it outside. Rebound by Benton, and a second chance here for the Tigers. Alexander brings it back out with 7 to shoot. Lost the handle. Stady takes it away. Georgia has not led here today. They have a second chance, maybe a third chance, and the third time could be the charm as Paul will go to the free throw line.
Eric, we're less than 3 minutes in this quarter, and that is the 4th offensive rebound for UGA. Stephanie Paul can't get the first chance to go down. Jenna Stady kicks it out. Maya Caldwell can't knock down the 3, but Stephanie Paul stays on the glass and draws the foul.
Costly foul for Auburn because Aaron Howard heads to the bench with 3 personal fouls. Annie Hughes comes on. So Paul cannot give Georgia the lead at the free throw line. Stephanie, the senior from Naples, Florida, 72% on the season. She has tied the game, however, at 31.
And Stephanie Paul's a great story. Has battled chronic knee issues throughout her career. Hardly practices now. Gets in minimal reps because it's about getting her ready for game day.
Benton gets downhill. Strong drive to the basket by Robin Benton. Has 7 now. Stady. Shania Jones is the first one off the bench here in the third quarter for Georgia. I'll give you an idea what Joni Taylor thought of Jones as she tries to reward her, and she does, giving Georgia its first lead of the afternoon.
And I think Shania Jones rewarded Joni Taylor for putting her in by knocking down that 3.
Foul called on Georgia on the drive by Alexander. Back to the third 3 of the game made by Jones.
Well, Jones knows what to do once the ball hits her hands. There, just a little hesitation, head fake, puts it on the floor and knocks down that 3.
So Jones is 3 of 4 from outside the three-point line. The rest of the team is 1 for 12 on three-point shooting. Shania, the redshirt sophomore from High Point, North Carolina, Virginia Tech transfer, became eligible in the middle of December. Stady heads to the bench. Mallory Bates comes on for Georgia as Alexander makes the first. Deja joined the 1,000-point club last week in December this season. Can't add to her point total. She is leading the way with 12. Unique Thompson has 11. Here comes that Auburn pressure that worked well in the first half, and that's more of an unforced error as Connolly tried to turn towards the basket before she had possession.
And sometimes, Eric, it's a cumulative effect of full court pressure on a point guard. That time we just saw Conley was so intent on beating the pressure, she didn't do the little thing of catching the ball before she tried to attack.
Here's Thompson, as Christie's pointed out, catching it up top. Hansen gets free with the dribble. Paul the rebound.
A byproduct of Thompson coming out is that that lane has been open for the guards to get to it. I would love to see Hansen take it, but Jones knows what to do when she gets it.
She is the microwave.
Instant offense when Shania Jones steps on the floor here, attacking at a transition. Little pump in the air, draws the foul for the and one. Eric, that reminds me a lot of me off the bounce, except I never got off the ground, and I definitely wouldn't have made that shot.
Connolly back for Morrison, 5 to shoot. Jones skips it for Connolly, has to force it up. Paul kept it alive, but it's grabbed by Auburn. Hansen was across half court. Freshman has had a couple of struggles here as she adjusts to Division I basketball, and she'll come out of the game.
So much talent for Lauren Hansen, but you just see she's almost questioning everything right now, and it's difficult to play at this level if you're not playing with confidence.
Bates is wide open, elected to try to pass it to Paul, and it turns out to be a turnover. Thompson, that pass was in the air too long, knocked away, and now Jones will try again and make again. Timeout called by Auburn. Georgia with their largest lead of the game.
Eric, the UGA needed offense. Insert Shania Jones in transition. Pull-up jumper. UGA up 4.
Boom. Upgraded.
Honestly, doesn't feel any different. You okay, bro?
Rated E for everyone.
4-point game, third quarter here in Athens. This year's first major is once again on ESPN2 and ESPN+. Our Australian Open first round coverage begins tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, highlighted by 15-year-old phenom Coco Gauff taking on Venus Williams in one of our later matches. ESPN Plus coverage also begins at 7 Eastern, and every match is also live on the ESPN app, so you can catch it anywhere. Shania Jones, 20 in her Georgia debut, 10 points in her next 6 games after that total, 13 points here today.
I mean, UGA has struggled, except when Shania Jones has been on the court for them on the offensive end. Instant offense for this young lady.
Benton out of the timeout, knocks down the 3. Robin Benton making her first career start. She's in the double figures now with 10. That matches her season average, season high, I should say. Her season average is 5. And that whistle will get us to a timeout. It comes with 4:20 to go in the third quarter. 1-point game in Athens.
A hard 20 after a hard day isn't for everyone.
Got this, Peloton.
Waking up before the sun isn't for everyone.
You're almost there. Stay with me. Stay
This
with me.
isn't for everyone.
Peloton, let's go.
But at $58 a month,
Don't give up. Come on.
Peloton is for anyone who wants it.
We mentioned early in this game that Auburn's trying to find different ways to get Unique Thompson the ball. But what they're having success at is while she's away from the basket, the guards are able to get in the paint off the bounce. Robin Benton turning the corner for a layup. Here, she reads the defense, elevates, and knocks down the 3.
So Benton having an outstanding game. Unique Thompson trying to get going. She's attempted just 5 field goal attempts so far, averaging a double-double this season. Has 11 all in the first half for Auburn. See if they get her involved out of this timeout.
Think about how many different post players has UGA thrown at Unique Thompson in this game. 4. And I think Stephanie Paul's even matched up with her. So that would be 5 different players that have had the task. And so you wonder from a physical toll, how much does that wear on Unique Thompson as the game goes on?
Shania Jones got a hand in there to force an Auburn turnover. What was that you said about when you start making shots, you start playing a little bit differently on the other end of the floor? That's been the case here.
Based on the number of shots Jones is hitting, she should be the best defensive player on the floor.
Morrison, little too strong on the drive. And a rebound for White. Paul gets out on White. Into the hands of Alexander.
Eric, that's one of those opportunities I would have loved White to give Unique Thompson the ball in the low block.
Conley with the steal and saved it to Jones. Jones in rhythm, can't make this three.
Eric, I just stood with Nick Thompson, a unique athlete. There, I would have loved for the ball to go inside. The rule I always gave my players, you see numbers, get the ball inside. Get it to the highest percentage player on the floor. Auburn doesn't do it, leads to yet another turnover.
Is what's holding Auburn back there? Do they see Paul hovering in the background for the double, or are they just not being aggressive enough, trying to get it to Thompson and let her go to work?
I think it's some of the inexperience of the Auburn perimeter players. They wait till the ball hits their hands to look inside. By then it's too late because help side rotates over.
Morrison can't hit on the feed from Nicholson, and Auburn will slow things down. 2:45 to go here in the third.
Eric, to be really good at feeding the low post, you've got to see where the ball should go before the ball hits your hand. So if the ball's at the top of the key and I'm on the wing and Unique's on my side, I got to see where that low post player is defending her before I even catch the ball and then deliver it.
Yeah, they got to get her involved right now. They've got a freshman defending her, Nicholson, who's a good freshman, but Thompson got it, and we'll head back to the free throw line where she's got her points here today.
Well, when she's caught it at the high post, faced up, and put it on the floor, she's either scored or drawn fouls. There, Gabby Conley's rotating over, but gets there too late and gets called for the foul.
Thompson well off the mark on that free throw attempt. Conley now has 3 personal fouls. Remember, she went to the bench with 2 in the first half. She'll stay out there now with the 3. Thompson, over. Jones picked up her dribble. She's in trouble, and Auburn bails her out. Benton leaned into her, got called with a foul. So Conley will now head to the bench with the 3 personal fouls, and here's Chloe Chapman, who provided some energy off the bench. Remember, the bench is the difference maker for Georgia in the first half. They were down by 10 in the first half. Bench got going with Chapman and Jones and Bates and Nicholson all contributing. Hose as well.
12 of those first half 25 points were from that bench. And here we have the 2 main ones in Chapman and Jones.
Paul on the inside. Jones and Chapman have provided that energy. Jones has been active defensively as well. Taking it outside is Alexander, and a rebound for Nicholson. Now Jones on the run, takes it to the basket, blocking foul, count the basket, and a chance for a 3-point play. The microwave is red hot right now.
Well, it's contagious, and if you want to run, don't dribble the basketball. Give Chloe Chapman credit for that outlet pass all the way down the floor to the streaking Shania Jones, who finishes through contact for the and 1.
Third personal foul on Hughes, and Jones a chance at the free throw line. This is the largest lead of the game for Georgia, on top by 5 as we close out play here in the third.
I really want Unique Thompson to get a touch in this possession. Draws the double team.
There's the double, kicks it out to Howard. And again, quick pass up to who else but Jones. Chapman will slow it down. To shoot. And turned over by the freshman Chapman. Three-pointer. Alexander, no. Batted out of bounds by Georgia. It'll be Auburn ball. Auburn outscored Georgia 17-9 in the first quarter. Georgia outscored Auburn 16-12 in the second, 17-8 here so far in the third. Auburn looking for their first conference win. Georgia has one conference win. Thompson, 7 to shoot. Hughes trying to force it into Alexander. Numbers for Georgia. Beautiful dish and the finish. And a steal in the backcourt. Jones jumps into the play, gets help from Paul. Two more.
Eric, Joni Taylor was telling Q Morrison to pull it out. Q Morrison didn't listen to her and found Jones on the weak side for that layup. UGA with their largest lead, up 9.
Timeout, Auburn.
A hard 20 after a hard day isn't for everyone.
Got this, Peloton.
Waking up before the sun isn't for everyone.
You're almost there. Stay with me. Stay
This
with me.
isn't for everyone.
Peloton, let's go.
But at $58 a month,
Don't give up. Come on.
Peloton is for anyone who wants it.
This is where the magic happens.
Hey, can I get a coffee?
I'm coming in.
Everybody has that game that they fell in love with. Those games were somebody's legacy. This is my legacy.
Our legacy.
Our legacy, whatever.
It's not my legacy.
At least you brought me breakfast.
Oh, this is mine. It's prescription.
A prescription bagel?
Legally, you're actually not allowed to ask me about it.
Whatever.
This strong third quarter run continues for Georgia. Now on top by 9, forcing a timeout by Auburn.
What's big part of it is Chloe Chapman. She has picked up the pace, pushing the ball in transition, finds Q Morrison streaking, but Q doesn't give up after she scores in transition, gets the steal. Her coach is telling her to pull it out, but she's got better ideas and finds Shania Jones on the weak side.
And then Annie Hughes got tangled up right there, and the officials went to the monitor briefly just to make sure there was nothing that should have been called, and that's been confirmed here. So with 25 seconds to go, it's an 8-0 run for Georgia. Those turnovers really costly for Auburn. 10 points off turnovers in this half alone for Georgia. Shot clock is off. Auburn will hold for 1. Got to get a basket here from Thompson. At least get her a touch. They try to get her a touch. She fights for it after it's deflected and somehow finds her teammate, Brooke Moore, who will go to the free throw line.
You hit it on the head, Eric. Unique Thompson needed a touch. She gets the ball somehow down low, and she has 3 white jerseys around her. Smartly kicks it to Brooke Moore, who's cutting to the basket and draws the foul.
You saw Paul deflected it. Thompson still got there. And a trip to the line. 4 more, 76% free throw shooter. That stops the 8-0 run. First points of the afternoon for Moore, who comes in averaging better than 11 a game. White's into the game. Auburn will bring pressure into the backcourt with 4.6 to go in the quarter. Morrison still going. Morrison all the way to beat the buzzer. They'll go to the monitor, but this looked good. And it started with Q Morrison going about 85 feet, picking up speed and closing out the quarter for Georgia.
Boom.
Upgraded.
Honestly, doesn't feel any different. You okay, bro?
Rated E for everyone.
Wasn't me, baby. No, it wasn't me, baby. Baby, wasn't me. Must have been some other body. Baby, wasn't me.
Free 2-hour grocery delivery. Now with Prime.
We're back in Athens, Georgia, University of Georgia campus, as we back Pat, continuing to honor Pat Summitt and her impact on women's basketball, both on and off the courts. What a third quarter for Georgia. They closed the quarter on a 10-2 run, and here were those final 2 points.
Eric, Auburn came up for some reason defensively, almost like a man, and Q Morrison wisely just took it coast to coast, got the ball out in time, and snatched back any momentum that Auburn had tried to get at the end of that quarter, and UGA takes it into the fourth.
Morrison now with 6 points. Jones leading the way with 17. You see the contributions that Q has made today, 6, 6, and 5. Well, it has to start with Auburn. You talked about right at the top of the telecast about how Auburn, with this bye week, working on ways to get Unique Thompson more involved. And it starts with her getting it here in the high post, but she did not attempt a shot in the third quarter. And she can't get to that rebound. Nicholson's there for Georgia.
Well, as much as Unique needs touches, Auburn's got to take care of the ball. In that third quarter, Eric, 8 turnovers, which led to 10 UGA points in transition. That's the key for Auburn. Yes, can they get Unique touches, but if they don't take care of the ball, Unique's not going to get a touch for sure. That's the 5th rebound for Thompson. She does have 11 points. Alexander leading the way with 12 for Auburn. 17 for Jones off the bench, who just missed that 3. She hasn't missed much else. Here's Thompson. Double comes. Moore has struggled from the field. Doesn't get this one, and it's another rebound for Morrison. Morrison with the feet to Paul with a chance to finish it. She'll go to the free throw line. All right, if Jones is the microwave, what is Q Morrison then? Because she's making so much happen on both ends of the court for UGA. Grabs the defensive rebound, takes it down the floor, and finds Stephanie Paul in transition. Well, maybe Q's the microwave and Jones is the blowtorch. Now you're just getting aggressive with the blowtorch. Well, I'm thinking toaster oven. No, gosh, convection oven. Oh, God, stop it. Oh, bless your heart. Paul. First time today that Georgia is up by double figures. They fell behind by double figures early in this game. Now, Joni Taylor wanted her team to play with their backs to the wall. Didn't look that way in the first quarter, but it has looked a lot better since then. Really making it tough on the defensive end. Alexander is fouled. She'll go to the free throw line. She said this was a must-win. Well, that's got a little early to say that, but then you look at their schedule coming up here, and it's like, oh yeah, there's not a lot of wins in that list right now for Georgia. Eric, when I look at UGA's schedule, we're talking back in November. I saw this 5-game stretch, and I called it murder's row for them. Like, UGA needed to be established before you go on the road to a really good Arkansas team that if you're not a mature ball club, Arkansas can run you out of the gym as soon as you step on the floor. You can't get caught into how they're trying to play, and you've got to be steady defensively. If they play like they did in the third quarter here against Auburn, against some of those top teams in the SEC, they'll have a fighter's chance, no question about it. And if they continue to get contributions from their reserves like they have today, that will really help the Lady Bulldogs. Chapman, a bench player, coming up with their first 2. So UGA goes on the road to Arkansas, and then they get to come home to the friendly confines of Stegman Arena to take on who is right now the #1 team in the country, South Carolina.
1 week from today. So you got that high-octane Arkansas offense, then hosting the #1 team in the country next Sunday, then at College Station, then at Mississippi State.
All right, so wait a minute. If high-octane is Arkansas's offense, what do you call South Carolina's?
I already came up with blowtorch. There is the microwave, 3-on-1 the other way. Morrison drops it down. Jones with 2 more.
I'm just going to go double oven for those two right now because they are both on fire, and they have set the tempo for UGA.
15 assists now for Georgia on their 22 field goals.
Another opportunity to get unique the ball, and Moore couldn't do it.
Jones has done the job defensively as well, and you made a great point. She saw that first shot go in, and you see that go down. That really picks up your energy for the full 94 feet.
Unfortunately, I feel like that's the era we're in now with young ladies. They need proof to play hard versus just coming out and playing hard. But whatever's doing it for Jones today, I'm sure her coaching staff wants more of it.
What a great defensive play by Chapman.
This is the best game I've seen Chloe Chapman play in the UGA uniform. She's been completely under control. Hasn't been flawless, but has run this team and has definitely pushed tempo for them.
Can't leave Jones open. She can't hit that corner 3. Now Auburn on the run. Chapman's the only one back. That looked like a walk. They said it was tipped. And now a foul called on Georgia. Q Morrison's the cheerleader on the court right now, and she's also leading by example.
Well, she's always been known for her defense, and early in the season, Joni Taylor said, we need offense off her defense. They're in transition, hits Jones for the easy 2. But Eric, what I'm going to say now that's SEC time is Q Morrison's offense is needed, and she's doing it through her defense. She's doing it in the half court. She's doing a little bit of everything for UGA today.
Batted out of bounds. Substitutions in for Georgia. Mallory Bates has come into the game. Jordan Isaacs has checked in as well. Stady and Jones sitting down. Off balance shot. Alexander can't get it, and here comes Chapman. Morrison for Connolly. Connolly stepped on the baseline. Turnover. Now that is one area that really helped Georgia. They were doing a better job of taking care of the basketball. They're now up to 18 turnovers, which is a high number, but it's at their season average, so it's something that they're all too accustomed with, but it has not hurt them as much as the turnovers have hurt Auburn here today. You see the points off turnovers, 19-9. Thompson. That was just her second field goal attempt of the second half. Bates puts it on the deck. Count it, and the foul.
And I'm going to give some point guard love. That is the 3rd time Chloe Chapman has made a touch pass, and that's what set up, Jordan Isaacs to get the ball.
Isaacs,
takes it off the bounce, Isaacs does. Finishes trying to get the M1.
Give Jordan her credit here. The freshman is the one who scores, not Bates. So the lefty at the line finishes the three-point play.
UGA has thrown out 5 different post players today. Auburn's only been able to go 3 deep. And so you wonder if there's a fatigue factor now for Auburn.
Batted away by Morrison. She's getting a hand on every possession here for Auburn. And also, you mentioned deep. Georgia's showing some depth here today. 10 different scores today. And it's not just the scores, it's Q Morrison. Like, yeah, it's a magnet right now. My hand is wherever it goes, and she'll get a great round of applause here because the fans here at the Stag know she'll get a hug from her coach. That's the kind of game that she can bring. And as you pointed out before, her minutes are up. She became a starter in the middle of December, and she's scoring, but she's also doing a lot of the little things which we saw on display here in this game.
Well, a year ago was battling back from a knee injury. This year didn't even participate when they went overseas to play in Italy because of a lower body injury. Started hitting her stride in December, but came into the starting lineup, and she's just instant energy for UGA.
Jones back into the game for Georgia. Thompson has her shot blocked. Well, one of those post players they continue to throw at Unique Thompson with the block shot. Mallory Bates. Closing in on 5 minutes to play. Hanson, Gamble, Chapman can't hit. Offensive rebound for Bates. Connolly kicks it. Jones will try from that spot again. That just has not been her spot here in the third quarter, here in the second half, rather. Scoring drought approaching 4 minutes now for Auburn. Benton can't end it. Connolly and Chapman directing traffic in the backcourt right now. Kick it to Jones. She'll try yet again. And Connolly called for her fourth personal. We'll take a timeout with 4:13 to go in the fourth quarter. Big comeback and a big run for Georgia.
You leave it to me. I'll get your taxes in an okay place.
What?
Well, just as soon as my audit is over. This gets my undivided attention.
Take a lot of trips to the islands, Phil.
Pretty great, right? Oh, Phil's legally dead. Fell off a boat. Going by Dennis now. Solari. Long story. Then we got, oh, no, you're not going to want to see this.
I don't think this is going to work.
Just okay is not okay. AT&T has America's best network, now with our best plans at our best prices, starting at $35 a month per line for 4 lines. New from AT&T.
Well, Eric esteemed Q Morrison, the microwave. It doesn't matter what you call her, because I'm going to call her instant offense. In transition with 2, big buzzer beater to end the third. Then what she's always been known for, her defense leading to offense for yet another 2 points in transition, and the ultimate payoff, a hug from her head coach.
Well, defense has been a big story here for Georgia. They have held Auburn to 15% shooting from the field in this half. You see what Morrison has been able to do with the scoring in double figures. She's got 6 here today, but she has contributed with the rebounds, with the assists, with the steals this afternoon.
You almost wonder how many arms and hands Q Morrison has. That's the impact that she has had on this game tonight.
Hanson will come to the game. Good 3-point shooter will check in. Benton with a couple of free throws. And now Auburn, which got offense from its press in the first quarter, is going to have to get some turnovers and some points here in a hurry as we close in on 4 minutes to go in the fourth.
Well, if you're an Auburn fan, you're optimistic. A year ago at this time, you were down 13 in the fourth quarter. You came back to win in overtime. You wonder, does Auburn have the defensive tenacity to dig back and force some turnovers here to get back in the game?
The turnaround won't drop, and Unique Thompson has a rebound. Auburn was down 13 in the fourth in the last meeting between these two teams, February 3rd at Auburn Arena. They ended up winning by 1 in OT. Thompson, great job by Bates. Help comes from Isaacs, and Alexander is there to pick it up. 15 points to pace Auburn in scoring for Alexander. 13-point game. And thrown away. Well, I know Joni Taylor remembers what happened in that meeting last year. And there's players like Chapman who didn't play in that game, obviously, as a freshman, but that's a bit of a raw wound with, and you pointed out, too, Georgia really never recovered after that game last year, too, on the road at Auburn when they gave up a 13-point lead in the fourth.
I mean, they had it in hand. It was just one of those games, again, turnovers. And that's why I think if you were watching this game early as a UGA fan, you started to cringe because it was same old of a year ago. However, as we talked about, the bench came in and righted the ship for UGA today.
Shot clock is now down to 8. Alexander is fouled by Paul. Georgia's over the limit, so 2 free throws coming for Alexander. This is the best way to claw back into a game. Step to the free throw line.
No time on the clock. Knock them down, cut into the deficit, and get your full court press set up.
Well, Alexander, after missing the last 2 games due to an ankle injury, has stepped up for Auburn. 16 points. Add 1 more.
She's just smooth on offense. You need a bucket. She can create off the bounce. She can knock it down from deep. But I think most importantly, she's stability for this Auburn ball club. A very inexperienced team. Only 2 upperclassmen on the entire roster, and that shows due to the inconsistency of this team.
Tie up. Possession arrow will keep it with Georgia with 18 to shoot. Two and a half to play. Georgia led by 17 with 5:48 to go. Jones, they needed it, and they got it. Career high 21 for Jones.
Sorry, are you talking about that possession or this entire game? Because that's what Jones has done for UGA offensively.
That possession summed up the game. She came in, knocked down 2 3-pointers in the first half after Georgia had missed their first 7 3-point attempts. Closing in on 2 to go. Benton uses the Thompson screen. Can't get it, and who else but Q with the rebound. Paul will try a jumper. Bates on the glass.
Grown
about ready to ask
rebound.
you. Well, it's about ready to ask you. Did that shot come a little too early in the shot clock? But Georgia made the most of it. Up by 15, approaching 90 seconds to go.
It's starting to get a little chippy down low between Bates and Unique Thompson.
If you're Unique Thompson, you know you're going to be frustrated because we have showed time after time how she has drawn doubles and triple teams throughout this game.
Well, I think that's got to be the game plan if you're facing Auburn. Someone else has to beat you. And until that happens, you don't want to let the best player on their team beat you. So that's why you're seeing all the double and triple teams.
That's the first point of the second half for Thompson.
And Eric, we can talk about Unique not getting the touches, but it goes back to there's not a true point guard on this Auburn ball club, and that's been a struggle for this team.
Timeout called by Georgia with 1:16 to go here in the fourth.
And Eric, to go back to that point guard piece, Deja Alexander went to Coach Flo after they lost at Vanderbilt and said, I want to be the point. She'd been playing off guard until that point. Now we see Deja Alexander back running the point for this ball club.
Well, we talked about the road ahead for Georgia with the game at Arkansas on Thursday, then hosting South Carolina next Sunday here at the Stag. South Carolina's got a big game coming up tomorrow as they will host the number 10 team in the country, Mississippi State. Bulldogs have won 8 in a row. The Gamecocks have won 11 in a row. The last 2 undefeated teams in conference play. The loud crowd, as always, big crowd at Colonial Life. 14 in a row on the road. The win streak now for Mississippi State. South Carolina coming off a win at Mizzou. Foul called here on Auburn. Win over Mizzou where they were plus 31 in rebounding margin. You know what South Carolina's going to do. They're an outstanding defensive team. They got tons of depth. Mississippi State, always a good defensive team. What do you think about the matchup coming up tomorrow night?
I think you add another 10 points when it's at South Carolina. That's how engaged that fan base is. At the end of the day, I'm sure both coaches will use this as a measuring stick. Because to me, it's going to be probably the best defensive matchup outside of Baylor that South Carolina has faced to this point in the season.
Paul with the shot clock winding down. Alexander with 45 to go. Auburn took a 10-point lead in the first quarter. They held Georgia to 9 first quarter points, but it started to turn in the second quarter. Auburn still had the lead at halftime as White hits. She's got 4, but that third quarter was the difference. 23-10 edge for Georgia, and the bench will be the story. Shania Jones with a career-high 21 points off the bench. And a foul called on Auburn. "20 seconds to go. Unique Thompson drawing that defensive attention. She does get to a double-double, 13 and 11.
That was a hard-fought 11 rebounds.
Yes, it was. And a hard-fought 13 points. She just couldn't get the touches or the scoring opportunities. Joni Taylor called this a must-win for her Georgia team. They delivered for her. A come-from-behind victory, down by 10 early. They come back to win by 11 here in Athens, 61-50 the final.
What Joni Taylor told us, there are no moral victories in playing Mississippi State close and playing Tennessee close. She goes, we're here to win. She has to be pleased with what she saw today.
Big bench contributions, and Q Morrison really dialing it up in all areas for Georgia. We'll talk to Q when we come back to Athens after an 11-point win for the Lady Dogs.
Boom. Upgrade.